It's so nice today, I don't really have an excuse not to film outside, so yeah. In all seriousness, the weather is literally perfect today. It's not too hot, not too cold. You got a slow little breeze, but nothing too much. The sun is shining, there's barely any clouds. It's lovely. This is probably the best weather that we've had the whole time that I've been at Lancaster. It is lovely, it's amazing. Hey all you Hillmaniacs, it's Hillmanator. In case you're wondering, the sound that you're probably hearing in the background is the M6, which is like 100 meters that way. Which brings me on to the topic of today's video, which to be honest I hadn't really decided on until I got here, but I'm gonna do it like that. Today I'm going to be talking about the negative things that I can come up with about Lancaster University, because I feel like I've more or less sung its praises in every single video, and while I am having a genuinely great time here, I want this to be a good reflection of what my experiences are like at Lancaster in general, so I can't just be dishonest and disregard all of the negative factors. Another thing is that when I look back, I want to actually remember it accurately, and I don't want to be using rose-tinted glasses, so to say. So that's why I've decided to do that for today's video. I mean, to be honest, I had no clue what I was going to film today, and it is Sunday when I'm recording this, so I would have been kind of stuffed if I hadn't come up with something. But anyway, today's point was the negative aspect of Lancaster University. And first and foremost, as I said, is the M6. It is reasonably noisy, it doesn't distract you during lectures, and it's not especially loud from in my room, but sometimes at night you can still hear it, and it's not so loud it's going to keep you up per se, but it is kind of irritating. I don't know. It doesn't bother me that much by now, but it certainly did when I first moved in. And so that would be my first negative about Lancaster University. Did I go for 5? That seems reasonable. Let's try and think of 5. So my second negative, on a similar point, is the bus stop directly outside of my room. Now that will not affect about 90% of the people at Lancaster, but it's literally right below my window, and Wednesdays are the student night up at Lancaster. They're also the night where I get a lot of noise by my window. I'm wondering if you can put 2 and 2 together here. See, it's not just my college that uses that bus stop, it's also the other 3 colleges that are nearby, and there's a lot of chant wars that goes on. Every college likes to say they're the best, and I hear all about it loudly. It's on its worst on Wednesdays, but there are sometimes other days where it does affect me, but to be honest, it's only on certain days where it happens. When it does happen though, yeah, it's flipping loud. Far louder than the M6. It actually, like the M6 I can kind of block out by now because I've just dealt with it. But people shouting and chanting directly outside of my window, yeah, that's harder to ignore. My third negative, I guess, would be the weather. Now, as I said at the start of this video, it is beautiful today. Heck, you can see, look at the sky. Look at that shade of blue. That is molto bene. But this, I mean, it hasn't been as bad this week, to be honest, or even last week. But it's been more or less continuously rainy and drizzly all the time. And I mean, I'm used to that. I lived in Newport for the past 8 years, and there's a reason the Welsh stereotype has a lot of rain. But yeah, if you're not used to having a lot of rain, it rains a lot. Yeah, I don't think we've had a proper thunderstorm yet, which is nice, but I wouldn't be surprised if it were to happen soon. And we have had more or less constant drizzle, so yeah, I mean, it's not that bad, it's just kind of like and it puts you off doing stuff outside, unfortunately. Negative at number 4 would be the near constant renovations that are going on. Now, there is a caveat to this. It has decreased over the past month or two, largely because they've actually finished a lot of the works that they were going to do in the areas that I walk, but they are still doing bits and bobs all over the place. The deli is now finished, and I've heard it's really good. I haven't had the opportunity to go in there yet, but everyone who I know who's been in there has said it's lovely. And the railings around campus have all been put up, and they aren't that aesthetically displeasing, to be honest. And if they're providing safety, good job. It's all stuff that needs doing, and I can respect them for doing it. It's just it doesn't seem to ever finish. It just seems to move, which I don't know, maybe that's just me being nitpicky. To be honest, I'm kind of starting to struggle to pick out negatives, which says a lot. But yeah, the constant working on renovation on stuff, bit of a pain. Those birds are being flipping noisy. Maybe that should be number 5. I mean, they were noisy last night as well, but what can be number 5? I know what number 5 can be. I've worked it out. It's the university gym. Now, all of the stuff in there is great, the staff are lovely, and this new suite that they've built recently is amazing. The problem is the cost. It's a bit on the high end if you want to get in there just whenever. It's more than £100 difference between the time limited and the constant access one. And the time limited one, it's very limited, because basically you have the morning 7 through 12, which for most people might be alright, I guess, but for me, I have stuff going on all throughout the morning, so it's kind of impractical. And then the afternoons 2 through 4, well, another time when people tend to have a lot of lectures, which is obviously why that's when the hours are for the cheap one, because it's if you can get to those times, you know. So it makes sense to have it that much, but I don't know, it just feels like it costs an awful lot, especially at the start of the year, because even if you just want to join one sports society, you have to be a member at the gym, which means that maybe you only want to join, let's say you want to join lacrosse. I believe lacrosse at the start of the year, for the entire year, membership fee was £43, if I'm remembering correctly. Now, I just wanted to try out lacrosse at the start of the year, for example, in this. I did actually, so this is a true story. But obviously, because I want to join lacrosse, I need a gym membership. And the cheapest gym membership for the entire year is £117, which, to be fair, is not a bad price for a gym membership. It's quite reasonable. But the next one is somewhere around £230, and it's at that point where it really starts to get pricey. So if you are a bit of a fitness freak, then you're probably going to end up spending quite a bit of money on gym membership. But I mean, everything in there is super duper good and high quality, so it's arguable whether that's really all that negative. It's just, for me, like, in an ideal world, I would want the price to be a little bit less, but I can understand why it isn't. Does that count as a fifth negative? I'm gonna say that that counts. If it doesn't, then I'm definitely going with the birds. The birds are flipping loud. Not the ducks though, the ducks are very respectful. We get ducks constantly at Lancaster and they are some of the best things about it. Yes, my duck family. I've made way too many references to ducks in the past 2 videos, haven't I? I should stop referencing ducks. Anyway, that was the 5-ish worst things about Lancaster. Someone has to be negative sometimes, and I am a pessimist, so, you know, it's kind of my job. But in general, I do love Lancaster. As I said at the start, everything about my experience here has been really good. It's just these 5 things are the 5 negatives that I could come up with. And also, I was desperate for a video idea, let's face it. I was running out of time and I just went with what's the most obvious thing you can think of. Why not? So that is it for today's video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've liked it. And I don't know how this would be useful for anyone, but if it is, yay, you're welcome. Yeah, haha. Can you tell I'm uncomfortable? I can tell I'm uncomfortable. Okay, thanks for watching all. I shall catch you next time.